With us now is Barry Eidlin, author of Labor and the Class Idea in the U.S. and Canada and an associate professor of sociology at McGill University. Barry, it's good to have you with us once again as we dive into... Absolutely. Welcome as we delve into yet another labor dispute, a large-scale one. This is a 92.7% strike vote. What does that tell you about the sentiment of those public service workers in BC?
It shows that they're feeling like a lot of workers are feeling right now, that they've got a lot of catching up to do. We've had a cost of living crisis in this country for the past several years now, and like many Canadians, wages just haven't kept up. And so we're seeing workers trying to make up for lost ground. And what they're sending a message that they're unified and that they want to get the employer back to the bargaining table, which is what a strike vote is supposed to do. It's supposed to exert pressure on the employer to come back to the table and negotiate a fair agreement.
And Barry, as you noted, yeah, we've seen those unions at Canada Post, the Air Canada flight attendants very recently, BC public servants now. Is it the cost of living? Is that the common thread here as we came off of those years of high inflation?
Yeah, it's a key part of it for sure, but it's really a coming together of a whole bunch of different threads, if you will. So really that over the past several decades, there's been a large-scale degradation in the quality of work for many Canadians. Wages are a big part of it, that they haven't kept up with the cost of living. But you can also think about pensions. You can think about other benefits that have gone away or that have been eroded. You can think about scheduling issues. You can think about job security. And all of those things sort of have been going on for a long time now. And I think the pandemic really had a way of crystallizing a lot of these key issues and really bringing them to the fore and making people aware that this is something that's a broader social issue, not just their personal problem. And then coming out of the pandemic, you had a third element to add, which is this is where the cost of living issue, the sort of spike in the cost of living combined with a tighter job market gave workers both more bargaining power and more reason to try to bargain harder. And then once you started the ball rolling with a few groups of workers going on strike in those years, in 2023 really was when you started seeing it take off, there was more of a snowball effect where more workers started seeing, oh, these workers were able to fight back and win more, maybe I can too. And so there's a greater appetite to fight for more.
Barry, do you expect this wave of confidence, for lack of a better term, to strike and win gains, to go beyond the large-scale unions that we've seen now? Do you think this continues down the road?
Well, we've been seeing it for the past 2 years or so. I would hesitate to call 2 years a trend. And obviously, particularly with the tariffs coming from south of the border, there's some signs of economic slowdown, which obviously often puts a damper on labor action. But, that can cut both ways, right? Because remember that some of the greatest labor upsurge that happened in this country was during the Great Depression, hardly a great economic time for workers. So it's unclear, but for now, we clearly are having a sentiment that workers are still willing to fight. And this strike vote and, coming on the heels of the Air Canada strike, where we saw workers defying government back to work orders, I'm not seeing a slowdown quite yet.
Okay, Barry Eidlin is the author of Labor and the Class Idea in the United States and Canada, an associate professor of sociology at McGill University. Thanks for helping us put a wider lens on this, Barry. Appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.